1971. A creature described as being 7 feet tall and 3 feet across his chest, with red eyes, quick movements, and heavy breathing attacked 2 people in Fouke, Arkansas. Bobby Ford and his wife, Elizabeth, both reported being attacked by this humanoid-like creature. According to Elizabeth Ford, she had been asleep in the front room of their house when she saw a hairy arm with claws coming in the window. She also saw the creature's red eyes. She was terrified and ran out of the room. A few days later, Mr. Ford and some of his hunting buddies returned home late one evening after a hunt. That's when they noticed a huge figure standing near the back of the house. They fired at the beast and thought they saw it fall to the ground. But before they could go look at it, Mr. Ford heard his wife screaming, and he ran back to the house. While running through the house, a 7-foot-tall creature grabbed Mr. Ford across the shoulders. Somehow, he broke free from the creature and crashed through the front door. His hunting buddies shot at the creature several more times, but investigators never found blood. All the sheriff's department found were a strange set of tracks and claw marks on Mr. Ford's front porch. After these events, the Ford family moved out of the house they had owned less than a week.
Welcome back to This Week in Arkansas. I am joined by meteorologist Skot Covert of Channel 5. I know as we're recording, we got some bad weather moving into the area, so we're going to keep this short for our viewers. That way you can do the old Garrett Lewis, roll the sleeves up, and get us for not an opportune time, 3 a.m. Weather event. So I know you're gearing up for that tonight.
Lots of coffee already going. Let's hope we don't have to wake anyone up tonight. But in case we have to, we'll be here. This is the first tonight of a few different systems that inevitably are probably going to impact a lot of weekend plans. In fact, I know Razorbacks take on the Rebels, Ole Miss Rebels this weekend. I'm afraid minimally there could be some rain, but we also could be looking at potential lightning delays as well. Of course, we're a few days out before we know for sure whether or not that's going to be the case, but it does look like Saturday, Sunday, even Monday, probably going to have some wet weather. But there is some good news, Porter. It's finally going to feel a little bit cooler out there by this weekend, especially going into Saturday. In fact, kickoff, I think, probably around 67 degrees. Pretty good chance of rain come Saturday there in Fayetteville. It's not going to just be in Fayetteville, however. We'll have better rain chances this weekend as well.
And more importantly, games aside, everything else aside, the wildfires, everything around the state, we're not having those the wildfires, and I would be remiss if I did not share our condolences with the Greenwood community after their tragic loss. But that's a huge relief coming in, more so than any lightning delay. So but we'll jump right into that. You're talking about the Razorback forecast, much in a very important game for the Razorbacks. So just go over what we can expect for those heading up to Fayetteville for the game.
Yeah, better rain chances probably towards the end of the game, but that's not to say we might not kick off with some rain and some thunder around the area. That's certainly a real possibility. The chances are just going to increase the further into the Saturday afternoon and evening that you get. Around 67 at kickoff, 11 a.m. The winds could be a bit breezy for us right out of the south, anywhere between 10 and 15 miles per hour. That's there on the hill, but elsewhere across Arkansas, no matter where your plans are, pretty decent chance of rain. That's going to keep us a little bit cooler. Upper 60s, low 70s is going to be common. Now, when you get into the Delta, South Arkansas, anywhere from, let's say, Memphis, West Memphis, through Stuttgart, Monticello, El Dorado, not as much cloud cover. Therefore, it's going to be a little bit warmer, probably trending near 80 that part of the afternoon in that part of the state. By Sunday, pretty similar day, decent chance of rainforest. We'll have to watch for some more severe weather on Sunday, and especially going into Monday of next week. So really active weather pattern, very different from what we've been dealing with over the last several weeks. But while we love the rain, and you're exactly right, we really got to do something about that fire potential. We're getting a whole lot of it all at once. And unfortunately, this time of the year, that also comes with that secondary severe weather season. And that looks to play out over the next few days.
Yeah. And with, the drought, the leaves falling, that just adds to that extra threat. So a much needed rain for the whole state again. I don't think anybody will be complaining for the rain, and
No.
we love seeing those 70s. So anything that we can get in relief from what we've had, I don't think anybody's going to complain. You're talking about trick-or-treating, November. We're fastly approaching the holiday season. So it's starting to finally feel that for a change.
Starting to finally feel that way. Duck season's like in 2 or 3 weeks away. I can feel it in my bones. And for a while, I thought I'm going to be sweating bullets in the duck blind from the heat, but maybe not. Maybe the weather's going to do us right.
I don't know if that would help having some thermal muck boots in 80-degree weather. So,
no, around here I've duck hunted and I've seen some cottonmouths, and that's a little bit alarming, right? So hopefully we can get some of that cooler weather to move on in.
Yeah. Well, Scott, again, appreciate you as always. Yeah, I know you have a busy night ahead of you, so really appreciate you taking the time away to give us the outlook on the weather.
Yeah, of course. See y'all next week.
We will come right back after the break. Welcome back to This Week in Arkansas. And Adam, we have a full weekend ahead of you with Razorback Sports. Arkansas basketball takes on TCU in an exhibition game, looking to be a little bit lesser of an opponent when you talk about coming off the Kansas win. And then the football team welcomes Ole Miss in a must-win for the Hogs. When you look at what's left on the schedule, you want to pick up as many wins as you can, and this is one of those winnable games. But let's start with the TCU game, final tune-up before regular season starts. What's your expectations from this game compared to the last?
So the first game, I think it was really like they truly wanted it to be. It was a practice, doing the quarters instead of halves, making it a little more situational. I kind of expect to see this game against TCU to be a little bit more buttoned up. Coach Cal stressed at the post-game press conference that they had rebounding issues. So, that's one of those things that you want to see them address that. And also the 3-point shooting. They struggled from the three. So it's really I think you're going to see them button up. You've got basically 2 games to get ready for Baylor in your second game of the year, number 8 team in the country. So you've got, essentially a couple weeks to get ready.
Well, and this game is on the road. You look at the Kansas game, it was in Bud Walton, and you wanted the excitement. You wanted that exhibition highlight reel feel. This really gives you a chance to have that away feel when you're going into the regular season. You can work on, like you said, the rebounding, the buttoning up, and it's a different style matchup. The TCU team's not returning a lot from last year. So, and they have quite a bit of transfers coming in. So it'd be a perfect opportune time to really focus, not have the Fayetteville, scene to, really focus them on getting ready for this season. But the game is 7:00 in Dickey's Arena, no TV for that one. And then you're moving on to the football game. Nothing more to be said about Ole Miss. We know Lane Kiffin coming in, Arkansas coming off that win. They want to prove, it seems like same thing all season. You want to prove that last week's win was not a fluke, and this has the makings of a game where you can win against another opponent, SEC opponent, and it gets you bowl eligible.
Both teams really have something to prove right now. Ole Miss is wanting to get back on track, and Arkansas, is too, just in a different way. Ole Miss still being ranked. Their season hasn't gone according to plan, even according to, what I had projected for Ole Miss. I expected them to be one of the, no doubt playoff teams. So I think both teams are going to come in with a little bit of a sense of urgency. You've got Ole Miss, who is, I think, number 2 in points per game or yards per game. And they're number 1 in points allowed per game. So here's something's got to bend. You don't know if Ole Miss is what their defense has allowed more so is more reflective on them or the teams they played though.
Yeah. And we'll be able to catch the game tomorrow night or tonight when we are recording on Wednesday evening, Friday night. That will be 7:00 in Dickey's Arena, and then followed by the game on Saturday, 11:00. You can watch that on ESPN, but that will do it for this episode of This Week in Arkansas. I want to thank you for tuning in each week. We'll be right back here next week for another episode.